The jurors have reached a verdict in the Feeding Our Future trial for Amy Bach and Salim Saeed. So we wanted to bring you this as soon as possible. Rob Olson is in the courtroom right now as the verdict is being read, and he will join us here in just a moment as he steps out of the courtroom. But I can tell you that we do have the information from Rob, and it looks as though Amy Bach had 7 counts and Salim Saeed 21 counts, and I can kind of go through here in real time as we're waiting for Rob to get in place the different verdicts on the different counts. So conspiracy to commit wire fraud was one for Amy Bach, count 1 guilty, and we do have let's see, wire fraud as well for Amy Bach, count 2 guilty, and there's a count 4 for wire fraud, which is also guilty. And it looks as though count 5 as well guilty, and then count 12 guilty. And I know the counts don't mean much to you, as we'll get to filling in the blanks here for you momentarily here. But we do have multiple guilty verdicts here in for Amy Bach, and then also for Salim Saeed. So Amy Bach, if you'll remember, was the executive director of Feeding Our Future. Salim Saeed was the co-owner of the Safari restaurant just off of Lake Street in Minneapolis, one of these supposed meal sites where taxpayer-funded money was going to supposedly during the pandemic feed children who needed meals. And so this verdict coming in to Minneapolis federal court now, again, Bach facing these counts of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit federal programs bribery, and federal programs bribery. And it looks as though, as I'm looking through my...
Okay, this is... Welcome back, guys. I told you I was going to come back. Part 2. Okay? We're going to bring you the verdict and everything. I'll let her keep running her mouth on this. But I just wanted to kind of come in and say, how you guys doing? Welcome to Individual Perspective Podcast. I am your host, Daris D. McKinney. Daris D. McKinney. This is Individual Perspective Podcast, and we live on the truth here. Okay. Please hit the like, subscribe, follow. Please, we need to get those numbers up. I know. Look, I know I'm on an island on my island of my own and by myself, and I'm talking to myself, but I need you guys to turn it up. Okay, we're gonna level it up in our lives and level it up on this podcast. Come on, and you guys should come on in and use the link to the email, and let's talk on panels. Come on, let's build our panel together. So I'll check you guys out. I hope you guys answer the call. We'll do a panels on Monday. I'll say Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And we'll do it on Saturday too. You get what I'm saying? And if we can do some more, we'll do some more. Let's go. And I'll get the topics. I'll bring them to you. I'll make sure we stay up to current events, and I'll get some things that we could talk about all over the country, and there's all kind of stuff to talk about. Really, I got about 5 episodes I gotta do right after we do this one. Okay, so welcome to Individual Perspective Podcast. Now we're kind of doing a podcast about Minneapolis and Minnesota and all the shady stuff that's going on there. So I told you I was gonna come back and show you guys what the verdict is. So let's get back to that.
Children who needed meals. And so this verdict coming in to Minneapolis federal court now, again, Bach facing these counts of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit federal programs bribery, and federal programs bribery. And it looks as though, as I'm looking through my notes in real time here, that Rob is showing us that I'm showing many of these counts as guilty, but I just want to be very careful as I'm reading through these in real time, because there are some counts that are not listed here that I want to just make sure I'm reading this correctly. So as I'm doing that, let me see here. Yeah, so both Bach and Saeed have taken the stand. We know that the jury started their deliberations this morning. So this has been a trial. The Amy Bach portion of this has been going on for about 5.5 weeks or so. They did take a week off. So about 19 hours of testimony, and the prosecution in her case brought many people to testify. It sort of went slowly, took a lot of time, and then when Salim Saeed took the stand, when his case was front and center, that is when it really sped up. And within a day or so, we were at closing arguments, and now, as you
and this is their local news, okay? So I wanted to go to them, no matter what they are, liberal, whatever. Have it come out of their mouth, and you'll see me do that. I don't care who's giving me the news. If it's objective and it's like what is actually happening, that's all I care about. Just report what's happening, and we'll commentate and make up our own mind or give our individual perspective. And that's what she's doing, so that's why I'm using this.
You see, we have these verdicts. So Rob Olson getting in place here, and while he's doing that, again, I want to welcome everybody in who's following us on streaming online, and we are also breaking into your programming here during the afternoon. We'll send you right back to that shortly here, but we did want to bring you this breaking news that a jury has returned the verdicts in the trial of Amy Bach and Salim Saeed. So the backstory here, just really quickly to set this up, prosecutors had said that Amy Bach was really the ringleader in this massive fraud scheme that had built $250 million from the federal child nutrition program during the pandemic. And as part of this scheme, which there have been many trials that have led up to this, this was sort of the big one, the main trial with Amy Bach involved because she was the founder. But Feeding Our Future did enlist food vendors and restaurants in the Twin Cities metro area that claimed to serve thousands of meals to children during the pandemic. In fact, a number of 6,000 meals was brought up, which FBI investigators quickly said while they were on the stand would be, just by common sense, not possible. Authorities saying that the vendors either lied or inflated the numbers of meals. So the fraud was exposed back in 2023. And
6,000 meals cost $250 million. Come on, I swear to God, it's ridiculous.
Since then, it's been a long journey of many different trials. In fact, dozens of people have been involved in this, and dozens of them have pleaded guilty already. At the trial, both Amy Bach and Salim Saeed had denied any wrongdoing in the fraud case. In fact, Amy Bach, who took the stand, many were wondering if she would take the stand, and her defense attorney said it is up to her. He did not advise her to do it, but she ended up taking the stand, and she denied any wrongdoing. She argued that she was lied to by vendors. And the prosecution also presented witnesses, you may remember, who said that they were named on the nonprofit's board, but they had nothing to do with this organization. One was a bartender at a bar where Amy Bach had been one time, and they had a discussion, and then he ended up on the website as a board member. And also, Bach had claimed that she had communicated with members, but admitted no formal meetings were held. She says, she was CC'd on a bunch of emails, and she didn't believe that because she was included in on correspondence that these charges should have been brought against her. So,
I'm having to my audio.
Communicated with members, but admitted no formal meetings.
Okay, so when it does that, that means that it's excuse me, a lot of cachet. So let's see what we can do. Let's see what. I might have to come in and bring it in live, y'all. Bring it in live. Do it live. Do it live. Okay, so this is the one we can hear, so we're gonna remove this one. Delete it. Okay. Bring this one back in.
The jurors have reached a verdict in the, she was the founder, but Feeding Our Future did enlist food vendors and restaurants, not advise her to do it, but she ended up taking the stand, and she denied any wrongdoing. She a fraud case in of many different trials. In fact, dozens of people have been involved in this, and dozens of them have pleaded guilty already. At the trial, both Amy Bach and Salim Saeed had denied any wrongdoing in the fraud case. In fact, Amy Bach, who took the stand, many were wondering if she would take the stand, and her defense attorney said it is up to her. He did not advise her to do it, but she ended up taking the stand, and she denied any wrongdoing. She argued that she was lied to by vendors. And the prosecution also presented witnesses, you may remember, who said that they were named on the nonprofit's board, but they had nothing to do with this organization. One was a bartender at a bar where Amy Bach had been one time, and they had had a discussion, and then he ended up on the website as a board member. And also, Bach had claimed that she had communicated with members, but admitted no formal meetings were held. She says, she was CC'd on a bunch of emails, and she didn't believe that because she was included in on correspondence that these charges should have been brought against her. So she did take the stand in her own defense. There was a lot of video, a lot of evidence in this trial. So as we were talking about how long this might take, of course, you never know in a jury trial how long this might take, but we do know, based on Rob's reporting over the course of the last 5-6 weeks, that there has been just an onslaught of evidence, videos, so many different meal sites, different people who were involved. And at one point, Rob was telling us, sort of midpoint in this trial, it would be very difficult for these jurors just to simply keep all the logistics straight in their head, the people, the places, the allegations, the different counts. There were so many here. So again, we're continuing to wait for our Rob Olson, who is in the courtroom as the verdicts were being read, and will join us here momentarily.
And this is like the beginning of the investigations of the fraud that was going on in Minneapolis. I think the governor and the mayor was all in it. And I think a lot of people got their hands in the pocket, you know what I mean? And they said it reached from $2 billion up to $20 billion of fraud. That you're thinking the governor and the mayor not gonna have no connection to that kind of money moving around in the state and city. If they were opening up a $2 billion building, the governor and the mayor would absolutely be there to cut the ribbon. So it's just ridiculous that kind of money can move around in Minneapolis and Minnesota, and they have no idea what was going on. Come on, y'all. The crooks. And Tim Walz was the actual running for vice president, and he's a crook. Judging Trump. Ridiculous.
You've seen, if you've been following this case, that cameras have not been allowed in the courtroom, so we've been relying on sketches to see what's been happening.
And I don't like that federal stuff, it's our government, and we got the most restriction on our government court proceedings. It's ridiculous.
I'm just going to look through Rob's notes here in real time. The jury bringing back these guilty verdicts for Amy Bach and Salim Saeed, multiple guilty verdicts, then polling the jury. In other words, asking, are these your true and correct verdicts? He says, I'm just reading his notes again in real time, Amy Bach just looking down at the table, Salim Saeed looking at the jury. And the judge, this is a quote from Rob, that the judge said, you have done your very difficult work well. You have contributed greatly to democracy. Another quote, enormous volume of evidence and very difficult case makes your work extraordinary, and you go with the court's thanks. Rob also saying that a sentencing date has not been set yet. and they are discussing right now release versus detention for these two. So again, this is a case that spans now a couple of years, and a lot to keep track of in the comings and goings. And even in this particular case against Amy Bach, and
that is wild.
Massive fraud scheme that had built $250 million from the federal child nutrition program during the pandemic. And as part of this scheme, so again, this is a case that spans now a couple of years, and a lot to keep track of in the comings and goings. And even in this particular case against Amy Bach and Salim Saeed, now that they have been found guilty, we had some hiccups where we had at one point just a couple of weeks ago during this trial someone who was held and then questioned because there was an allegation of witness tampering in this case as well. Someone who was trying to perhaps convince a jury member or someone who, it wasn't a jury member, excuse me, trying to convince one of the people who was going to be testifying to testify a certain way. So we've seen that in this case. We've seen that in one of the other cases involving Feeding Our Future as well.
And this is the case where they actually took some money to the juror's house, like $120,000 to bribe him. So this is the actual same case,
where there was some money involved in trying to bribe one of the jurors in that case as well. So again, a lot to try to digest in this Feeding Our Future fraud case that has spanned now a couple of years and nearly $250 million.
Okay, to give you guys a quick understanding of that. So let's go to the next clip.
This is Fox 9 News at 6.
Well, tonight, a jury finds the ringleader of the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme guilty on all counts.
Amy Bach and Salim Saeed faced a total of 28 counts during the 5-week trial. Fox 9's Rob Olson has been following the trial all week and then some. He joins us now outside the federal courthouse in Minneapolis. Details on the guilty verdicts. Rob?
Yeah, very long trial, very short deliberation. The first witnesses took the stand in this trial back on February 10th. The jury began deliberating at 9 a.m. this morning. We got the word at 2 p.m. that they had reached verdicts, and there were a lot of counts that they had to consider. But to prosecutors, they believe this shows how overwhelming their case was.
Hopefully, today's verdict will help turn the page on this awful chapter in our state's history.
The very quick verdicts against Amy Bach and Salim Saeed come after a nearly 6-week trial. The jury saw hundreds of pages of documents, false meal claims, fake invoices, million-dollar checks, testimony from some of the 37 people who've already pled guilty. For prosecutors, the evidence was overwhelming. They say that Amy Bach knew. She submitted every false claim, wrote every check of the nearly $250 million in fraud. I asked them what they thought resonated the most.
Wow.
I think you'd have to ask the jury that, but obviously in any case where the defendant testifies, that's a key part of it, and both defendants.
These liberal white women, they crazy.
Our state's history.
The very quick verdicts against Amy Bach and Salim Saeed come after a nearly 6-week trial. The jury saw hundreds of pages of documents, false meal claims, fake invoices, million-dollar checks, testimony from some of the 37 people who've already pled guilty. For prosecutors, the evidence was overwhelming. They say that Amy Bach knew. She submitted every false claim, wrote every check of the nearly $250 million.
And look at her. She's smiling. She thinks this stuff funny.
I asked them what they thought resonated the most.
I think you'd have to ask the jury that, but obviously in any case where the defendant testifies, that's a key part of it, and both defendants testified at length, and clearly the jury didn't find them credible and didn't believe their stories.
Bach testified for more than 3 days and had answers for everything, as prosecutors noted, but often conflicted with other witnesses and laid blame on everybody else. Bach's attorney sees it differently.
Amy's testimony was compelling.
And she got a Somalian lawyer. It's ridiculous.
She answered all the questions that could have been answered.
He said he's shocked that she's now being detained until sentencing since she has no passport and no money, living with her parents. He was asked if she may express remorse.
$250 million fraud, and she cutting checks, $1 million checks to people illegitimately, and they didn't even feed these people. They were supposed to feed 6,000 people for $250 million. And out of all that, she don't have no money. No money. That's why she's smiling. They got that stuff in the Caymans. She got it in a secret bank account, gave it to family members for them to hold. And this is crooked, man.
At sentencing.
If there's any remorse, it's because of her children.
Nah, she set them up well. All crooks.
For her to admit anything, I will go to my grave knowing, because I've reviewed the evidence, this is an innocent woman.
Salim Saeed is also now in custody, convicted of far more counts than Bach and described as one of the largest perpetrators of fraud. Nearly 30 defendants still await trial, but these quick verdicts just might bring more plea deals, prosecutors say.
That's up to them, but I would imagine that the quick verdict will probably not go unnoticed by the remaining defendants in this case.
Now, sentencing has not yet been set in this. As for questions about just how many years that Saeed and Bach could receive, it's hard to say.
Maybe after I get through.
Here's some comparisons for you. One of the people that was convicted.
Maybe after I get through playing all the clips and stuff, and then we go over all the stuff for Renee Good, maybe I'll go and chase down the clip for their sentencing. But I just wanted you guys to get the verdict.
Last year at the first Feeding Our Future trial was convicted of 4 counts and received 17 years in prison. Now, contrast to that, Amy Bach's convicted on 7 and Salim Saeed on 21 counts, so far more than that. In contrast to that, somebody who pled guilty last month took a plea deal, pleading guilty to simply 1 count of wire fraud, got 3.5 years in prison. So a vast separation there between the prison time. Live in Minneapolis, Rob Olson, Fox 9.
Okay, guys. So now I need you guys to understand. Okay, for what I wanted to kind of start off with is the gender war is crazy in itself. Okay, and that's a lot to kind of wrap your head around. What's the opposition between male and female? Excuse me. Why we're not like cohabitating and giving birth to kids and all that stuff like that. We're kind of pulling back on it a lot as a society, you know. And I was saying something yesterday and I wrote it down in my notes. And I said that life is littered with women that are in situations they weren't hoping for. Okay, so life is littered with women in situations that they weren't hoping for. They were not hoping for. And life is littered with men that wish they had less acceptance to women, grandeur of equality. Okay? I know that's a lot, you know? And what I mean by that is, in women empowering themselves, we have mothers that we love and sisters and all that stuff, and we probably was raised to think them empowering themselves into the workforce and all that stuff was strong and powerful for our mothers, and it showed a lot of grit and all the other stuff. But societal wise, in order for men to allow women to dominate, even it's not dominating their household, but to give some domination to working and moving up the corporate ladder or the workforce and everything and gaining favor in the workforce, you're kind of subverting the purpose of men and manhood. The society was built for men to pretty much do the 90% of all work to be done in the workforce. But we put administrations and the things of accounting and all that stuff, and we kind of put a lot of the powerful positions that are not hands-on into that 50% market that just flooded into the 50% workforce that just flooded into the market within the last 50, 60 years. So literally it's only been 50 to 60, 70 years that we had women part of the workforce. You understand that? In 2,000 to 3,000 years of men dominating what needed to get done. So this is new. And fast forward to 2026, it has hurt society, hurt relationships, hurt families, everything. It has become an experiment that was not in our best interest. Now, I think women and men can come to that judgment. Now, you know what I mean? I'm guilty of kind of taking a step back and not being as dominant in my manhood like I should have been, because, you know, you're kind of want to keep the peace of the women in your life and the environment. You don't want to pass judgment on it. But as I stand here now, and when I'm reinforcing certain things that I'm kind of going for, my goals and the accomplishments that I'm going for, I see that it was better all along if I had took this position in majority of my life, in my adult life, you know. So the reason of me saying that is, like, having women out here protesting and coming into contact and opposition with tactical agents like ICE and Border Patrol is let you know how far the psychosis of fake safety is dominating the perception of everything. Innately, we are dominant. It's in men to kill. It's innately in us to dominate, kill, and destroy and conquer. That's innately in us. I call it the Alexander syndrome. It's in every man. The men that you guys call losers, that you think is not as smart or intelligent or not valuable in society. The one thing, Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Denzel Washington and Tom Cruise and Jay-Z and Bruce Springsteen and Donald Trump, and down to a bum on the street, a nobody, and all of us men, one thing we all have in common is the Alexander syndrome. We have the ability to conquer. We have the ability to destroy. We have the ability to kill. We have the ability to dominate. It's innately in us. And all the stuff you look at men doing as they start polite and they gentlemen and they chivalry and all that stuff, that is a psychological mind fucked of civilization that we have placed upon ourselves, because it's out of our actual function. It's out of what our innate wants, needs, and abilities are. So we're suppressing our true dominance on a day-to-day basis in all scenarios and situations in order to coexist in the new Homo sapien evolutional society where equality and evaluations of the weaker person is not a day-to-day or moment-to-moment reaction. And what I mean by that is it is not innately in a man to compete for a job on opposition a woman that is weaker than him. You know, we're talking about inability of survival. So if that's the way to feed his family, and on the opposite side of him is a woman, then he would destroy the woman. It would be innately in him to do that. But that we don't think like that, it's out of our core, it's out of our thought process. So as we coexist in this evolutional process and time that we're living in the last 70 to 100 years, because that's all this out of the 2 to 300,000. I mean, that's out of the 2 to 3,000 years of human evolution. Is only about 70 years of that. That's this society we live in. So when you understand that it's certain things. We keep playing the game of civilization and rules and regulation of evolution. But it's certain things you don't play with. And when tactical men, tactical agents, tactical law enforcement are going to grab a criminal or a man or a legal immigrant that's in here illegally, and it's just time to pay the piper for that illegal immigrant. And if women get in the midst of that because they emotionally feel that, oh, that's my neighbor, you can't take my babysitter away or my lawn care worker away, or whatever kind of racist, ridiculous stuff that they give value for illegal immigrants and the purpose that we must keep illegal immigrants in the country, whatever the white liberals say and the socialists say, to reason why we shouldn't have borders and we shouldn't be regulating who's here and who's not here, whatever the crazy stuff that they got going on in their head, the worst thing you could do is, in the midst of a tactical mission and a tactical task, put yourself in the midst of that, where calculation of what are you doing and how far you're going to go, it's up to whatever happens. So I always say this, you don't want to enter the abyss, because inside the abyss, anything goes. And what I mean by that is, if you get yourself into a situation where you can't control every element at every minute and second and moment of that actual abyss in that moment, you're in the abyss. And when you're in the abyss, now your life have no meaning. It's all determined on whatever happens. So you could lose your life. It could get bad. Whatever happens in the abyss, everything happens in the abyss. It is no rules inside the abyss. So if you don't know what's going to happen next, you're in the abyss. And anything goes in the abyss. Everything is rightfully to happen in the abyss. And women got to understand, when you're going in opposition of a man, you're in the abyss. You know what I mean? If you got one up on them and you kind of know how this is going to end, then you're not in the abyss. But when you don't really know how this is going to end, you're in the abyss. You know, that becomes, is this preordained, or is I'm not paying attention to what's going on, and if I was paying attention, I would know what's going on. So it's my ignorance that puts me in the abyss. So I say that because as we deal with what happened to Renee Good, I look at her and I'm telling you, I look at her pictures when she was, because they show pictures of when she was pregnant and she had with her family and stuff like that. And I see how she looks inside the car when she was doing all this knucklehead stuff. And then I look at the girlfriend that she's decided to become gay because she had a husband and all that stuff like that. So she had 3 kids and she's a heterosexual lady. And she's totally disrespecting her kids and the purpose of her kids wanting to have their mother in their life. She's totally disrespecting that for the ideological purpose of this partner that she has that's running her mouth and wild and extreme liberal ideology. Got an illogical point of view. You see her running her mouth. I'm gonna show you a lot of videos. We're gonna run through it all, okay? And when I look at her and I say, man, she's not supposed to be in this. She's taking on a persona that's not hers. And now she's in the abyss. And this is not her world. She's in the abyss and she don't know what's going to happen. But it was all fun and games until it's your ass. And that's sad because I really think she was the good person in that relationship with her female partner. But I think her female partner, because she even said it in her own comments, that she got her to come down there. She kind of got her to come down there. So it maybe was something that she wouldn't even have thought of to do. And she got egged into it and she panicked or whatever she did. And she maybe thought she was fighting the good fight. And she went a little bit too far. And that's her ass. And that sucks, man, because I think she was the good person that got drugged into that and manipulated into that whole situation. And she kind of made extreme, terrible judgment, thinking that she could just do whatever she want to do and ain't nobody going to shoot the gun. They got guns on them. Nobody gets in confrontation with guns and it doesn't get into an extreme situation, especially if you run a car into somebody. That's kind of wild. Okay? So I want to start off with just a psychosis pre-warning that just in the interaction of ICE and people and women, it so happened to be captured.
If I continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning? I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Well, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
Knucklehead. Didn't listen to anything that he was saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice around here. Just so you know, if we continue to have you following us, okay.
Ridiculous.
Interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a...
So ridiculous. And you got a guy, you just don't intimidate her. Dude, get these women out of the warfare, dog. What's wrong with you? They're not even supposed to be there. It's dumb.
Interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning? I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing, to not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Well, bad
Okay,
decisions.
thank
That's
you.
funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
Ridiculous.
Hold on. Watch out, it's slippery. Watch out. Yeah, there's a lot of ice around here. Just so you know.
Like it's all the people, like the whole city, man. All the citizens in the same ideological thought process. Terrible.
If we continue to have you follow us, okay. Okay. Have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
It's not illegal to follow you. What is illegal is stopping people unconstitutionally.
Don't interfere.
Wow. Okay. See? And now we get to Renee Good. And they've been talking like that to the citizens for like months, telling them to stop interfering. This is tactical stuff.
Crackdown. Now, the images are disturbing. They were caught on camera and could be upsetting for you to watch.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God!
The Department of Homeland Security confirms the unidentified woman was shot in her car after allegedly trying to run over law enforcement officers. DHS claims a federal agent, fearing for his own life, opened fire.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
The mayor of Minneapolis says the self-defense justification cannot be supported.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense.
And keep in mind, these are the actual mayors and governors that actually look the other way to the $250 million in fraud. Okay. And like I told you, it's actually really, because now this is, if you fast forward to 2026, because that case was like in 2023, 2022, when they gave the verdict to the first batch. And then they end up investigating more, the federal government, and they actually found it was up like to $2 billion, $20 billion. So that's the mayor, and you're going to see the governor, and they don't know what's going on with all that kind of money moving around, and companies spending that kind of money and doing that kind of service inside the state and the city, and they don't know nothing about it. Come on.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is.
The mayor is now demanding that ICE agents leave the city. The shooting happened just 4 blocks from where African-American George Floyd was killed by a white police officer in 2020, sparking nationwide demonstrations.
Ridiculous. Oh, boy, I tell you, they're so dumb. Let's keep going.
Yeah, well, people on megaphones chanting into. Yeah, well, things starting to get a little bit more tense as you're looking live here at Commander Bovino here with Border Patrol. He just came out and joined the line of Border Patrol agents outside of this federal building. Sir, any comment on these protests?
Off the road. Off the road.
All right, so Bovino telling us and a lot of these protesters to stay off the road as dozens of Border Patrol agents continue to line this federal building. A lot of these protesters continuing to yell at these agents and tell them to leave Minnesota, leave Minneapolis. They're not happy.
Y'all polish shit. So no, they need to stay there and do the work that needs to be done. Okay, let's go back to the crime scene.
The mayor of Minneapolis is lashing out at President Donald Trump after a woman was shot and killed by federal immigration agents. But first, a warning, some of these images are disturbing. Residents clashed with ICE agents after a protester was shot.
So you got all these young, wild, crazy white liberals. Ain't no Somalians there. Ain't no Hispanics there. There's a bunch of wild ass white liberals with this socialist ideology that comes from Henry Wallace and Saul Alinsky. That's what it is. It's the same crazy stuff that's been going on with Obama and Clinton and all of them. They all puppets and like shit pellets from Saul Alinsky and Henry Wallace. That's all they are. And if you look that up and you read that stuff, you know what I'm talking about.
The agency says the officer discharged his firearm because he feared for his life and for the safety of the public.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is and we're going to make sure that in this very difficult moment, we do not take the bait that these ICE agents are trying to create and that the federal government, to be clear, wants.
The shooting happened just days after the Trump administration deployed more than 2,000 agents to the Minneapolis area to launch what it claims is the largest immigration operation ever. Trump's government recently froze child care funds to Minneapolis after a conservative content creator posted a video online suggesting that some Somali-run daycare centers were not taking care of any children. Those claims have not been proven.
Yes, they have. They absolutely have been proven. See, that's the rhetoric from the media, but actually the FBI is there and they pull and they actually got the paperwork and everything that was about $2 billion to $20 billion. They pulling all kind of stuff. They getting all kind of whistleblowers and witnesses and all kind of stuff. So that's a fake, false narrative right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit of the commentary coming from a lot of the hacks, the political hacks and the stupid liberal people and the white liberals and all that stuff. And then we're going to go to the actual shooting incident and we're going to see the real footage and we're going to make a judgment on that. And we're going to bring this to a conclusion. Okay. So let's go to CNN first.
So, Laura, right now we are in downtown Minneapolis. We've been following this protest outside of a hotel where these protesters believe federal agents may be staying. And just in the last few seconds, it appears they're trying to get actually inside this hotel. You can see this ramp that they were all around me a few seconds ago, and now they're up this ramp. I can see a door open to this particular hotel, and you can see and hear how much noise they're actually making right now. Earlier, they were shining lights on some of the windows, truly making as much noise as humanly possible to this point, banging on drums, blowing their whistles, out with their signs as well. This is at least the second hotel they have been to in the downtown Minneapolis area, appearing to be under the belief that agents are staying at the hotels at which they arrive. Now, again, you can hear the drums, but I can't emphasize enough, it was just a few seconds ago, as we're going to get closer to this ramp to see what we can see. Excuse me here. Where you can see the door open, it doesn't seem that they've made much more progress beyond that door opening and a good portion of them actually going in. Now, while there was law enforcement in this area a little bit earlier in the evening, we have not seen any in the last 30 minutes or so to this point, as they are now clearly downtown.
And they doing that just to make noise so they can't sleep and all that stuff like that, just to be very disturbing outside the hotel and everything like that. I'm telling you, these, and trust me, you got billionaires paying these people to fly in and be out there doing that. They're getting paid to do that. Just like Renee Good, they got paid to be out there. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that until we look at the bank account and all the other stuff, you know, but they've been known to follow the ICE agents and stuff like that. A lot of these people, look, man, they got millionaires and billionaires funding all this stuff because all of it is anti-Trump. That one person has freaked out all the illegitimate people. And I'm not talking about legalized to the country, illegitimate and just they are supposed to just shut up and live and be obedient and represent somebody in their life that they need to just follow. So the illegitimate personalities out there communicating like they have a value to society, and they don't. You know, they got to get paid to disrupt and get chaos to the country and social dynamics of the country and everything like that. They do no good because what they're doing is illogical. If you put them in the room, put them on a podcast and go tooth by tooth, you'll see they're illegitimate in their point of view and their ideology.
They are now clearly, it seems to have breached at least one of the doors here, but at the very least, everyone out in the street making as much noise truly as humanly possible. And when you look at the size, it actually isn't the overall biggest that we've seen, but you actually see here they've climbed a ladder of this other little vestibule here on the side, and they're up there observing as well, as you've got apartments around the surrounding area on top of that. So this is a protest that had been marching through the city and through downtown Minneapolis in particular, and this is the latest stop where they've made their move here to just oh, and you know what, I'm going to turn here. You can see the lights that they were shining on the sides of the building here, trying to get into some of the windows with that light, which we saw them doing previously on the other side of the building as well. So Laura, clearly we knew there was anger here with federal immigration agents being in the city of Minneapolis, and these protesters making it known they do not want them, not only in the city, but not even staying in the hotel.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Look, I'm showing you guys all the bloviating and everything like that. This knucklehead, let me show you a couple other people before I show you them. Give me 1 second. I want to look at this. Okay. There's a knucklehead.
We watched that man literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle. Yep. And shoot round after round after round into her. Mm-hmm. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. Yes, they are. Bring it up. He shot her 3 times in the face. The rest of law enforcement made sure that no one in the crowd could render aid. There was an actual physician that said, hey, I'm a physician. Let me render aid. And they said, stand back and watch her dodge. And so our expectation is that in tragedies like this, law enforcement would undergo due diligence, determine whether or not a crime has been committed, and bring charges. Yes. And ultimately into her.
No, look. ICE has an issue going on. See, let me explain this to you guys. See, this is what's so bad about Renee Good, because I think it sucks that she died. I think she's more of a good woman than her partner. I think, that was a bad situation for her. You know what I mean? But when you get caught up in somebody else's world and doing things that you probably wouldn't do if you was in your right mind, in your own functions and how you move. And when you start moving like what somebody else wants you to move, like you start doing things that mimic what they would do or how they act, and you go into a world that's not your own and you don't know what happens next. So I'm gonna just talk to this fucking idiot. And the reason why I'm so forceful with that is because he's a black man. You know, one is black men, like the ideology that we're passing down and that we're emoting to other people, other men, other black men is so crazy. It sounds masculine and all that other stuff, but really it's like a misdirected, self-destructive, it's just not good. The mandate of ICE, the reason why you see them cover their face is because they have an issue going after people that are linked to the cartels. And the cartels, just like in all the black neighborhoods, in all the black gangs, the cartels are making our black gang members bow down. You know, they take out our black gang members. They take out our black men inside the inner cities. And they've been doing this for decades. The big bad boogeymen are Hispanic cartel-linked criminals and gangs. If you know what's going on in this inner city, you know that to be true. So when this idiot is kind of bloviating and all this other stuff, he don't want to take on the real fight, the real issues. So if you know the cartel will come for you. If they know who you are, they'll come for you. If you put your face on a problem of theirs, they'll come and take care of it. And they don't forget. And they got a long reach. So it's a lot of Hispanic gang members that are here, and they're like sleeper cells. When they gotta go do something, they gotta go do something. And it's coming from the word of the cartel. So one of the major issues of the cartel right now is the illegal immigration clampdown, it's the sex trade clampdown, and it's the moving of the drugs through the borders and the seas and stuff like that. So it's a major issue for the cartels. And one of the major issues enforcements are the Border Patrol and ICE. If they can see who these ICE agents are, they can send people to look for them. And they coming out of nowhere. These are regular citizens walking up to you as an ICE agent because you got docs. What docs mean is that they know who you are, they know your name, they know where you live, and you get taken out. And you think you're safe in your suburban neighborhood, but the cartel will come there and take you out. So they cover their face because one of the things that they found out from the 80s to now is that the cartels will come and get you. If you're an enforcement against the cartel, you're a priority on them to show you that you're not that you could be touched. You know? So dealing with that and this is the people that the ICE and Border Patrol deals with on a day-to-day basis. So now they're in the cities grabbing illegal immigrants because criminal border and law and Border Patrol issues and ICE issues are in every city now because of the migration of illegal immigrants, and border policies have moved into every city. It used to be in Texas and Arizona and New Mexico, stuff like that, but now it's in Minnesota, now it's in Detroit, and now it's in, you know what I mean, it's in New York, it's in all the states, all the country, because they pushed them into the country. So now a border patrol enforcement, a cartel enforcement, an illegal immigration border irregularity policies enforcement has come into the actual cities inside the country, and now the border patrol and ICE has to come in to do their work. So as we look at it as innocent bystanders too, a true enforcement of illegal immigration and border policies, criminalizing certain acts of the border, and you see the enforcement of it, the law enforcement of it, we're all stunned. Oh my God, look at that. No. He got immunity. He's a federal agent. Knowing that we're going into these liberal cities, knowing that the Border Patrol and ICE are going into these liberal cities, dealing with people's illogical point of view, and they're going to have to deal with a lot of gang members, a lot of black criminals, a lot of white liberals doing wild stuff that's going to actually make them have to engage in situations that they really never normally engage in. But it's all the crimes under the sun that will happen to them because it's disruptive to the psychosis of regular bitch ass people that don't really deal with what goes on with the border. So now the law enforcement punk stuff that they got to deal with with these soft ass people inside the cities, they dealing with that. Amongst people are trying to do things to give themselves true value, but that can kill somebody, that could kill a police officer, that could distract a police officer and have another person attack the police officer, or not the police officers, because the police officers are bitches too. They're just standing by idly watching the citizens do dumb stuff. They supposed to be keeping the control of the citizens, so ICE don't have to do it. So when ICE is doing an enforcement, you don't have to interact with the citizens. Why? Because the police officers there to make sure that the citizens stay out of the way of the federal law enforcement. But because the governor, Tim Watts, and the stupid ass mayor told the actual police officers to stand down, it made the ICE agents have to interact with the citizenry, and the citizens are too much of a bitches to be messing around with people that deal with cartel members. So when this lady think it's okay to run her car or to drive her car out of panic or whatever the hell was going on, we can't read her mind. Whatever the hell she was doing, she thought it was all jokes and fun, and she would live to tell the day, or oops, you can't get me, oops. Like driving your car forward to escape and drive away when somebody told you to get out the car, and law enforcement told you to get out the car. You have you protest in court. You don't have force. You don't meet a force enforcement with force. Because the response is overwhelming force. That's how that goes, y'all. That's the tactic of enforcement. Force. So if criminals do a forceful act, the law enforcement force let's say this. If law enforcement comes to force a civilized situation and you respond with force, the response of law enforcement, especially ICE, let's say ICE, is overwhelming force. This was trained with the Navy SEALs, to the military, to the National Guard, to the police officers. How do you deal with force? With overwhelming force. So if you're running your car towards me, or in a potential way that could that's literally can kill me, then I respond in overwhelming force if I possibly can. And that's the situation that they're trying to debate. So for him, oh my God, they would let her have aid. No, it's too chaotic. Everybody's the enemy now. Everybody. This lady just ran her car into the agent. The agent, as he was getting hit, he shoots some rounds off. And then now this lady dies running into other cars. This is an extreme enforcement issue now. No, you can't render aid. You know what I mean? This is a dramatic situation. All y'all are the enemies. We don't know. And y'all getting rowdy because y'all watching this lady die. Now we all in danger. We have to dominate the situation. That's why the National Guards was following and patrolling with the ICE agents and Border Patrol, because just in case you get a big rowdy crowd, you got that National Guards to put them off, because you got just as much enforcement there to calm people down, to let them know, don't cross the line. Don't cross the line. But without that, and you got the sporadic stuff, and you got law enforcement standing back and not really managing the citizens, anything can happen. And when you enter the abyss, everything goes. It's all fair. It's all fair game. That sucks. I really don't like this for Renee Good. I hate that she was even there. And from what was said to her from her partner, she wasn't supposed to be there.
Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify.
Yeah, I'm not listening to him try to say what law enforcement is supposed to be doing. It's just a biased opinion, you idiot. Now, there's another idiot that I got to stomach through and let her run her goddamn mouth. But when I make my final point, I want you to have this all in context.
Good afternoon. I'm Rochelle Bilal, the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia.
Rochelle, whatever the hell she said. Masculine. Like, look, I don't look. So, to each his own. This is ridiculous. I'm just saying, this ain't help our society. It's not. This stuff has destroyed our society. It has. And like I said, it's no way to turn it around. No way to turn it around. We can't evolve. The best you're going to be able to do is just do the best you can in your life, have a good life, and live a good life. You can't write the social dynamics and the social destruction of humans and the way that people are supposed to conduct themselves because of the gender, in just the scientific way it is. You're never going to get that back. We're going to have this illusion of up. What's up is down, and what's down is up. What's right is left, and what's left is right. It's nothing makes sense. It's never gonna make sense. We're down the rabbit hole of ridiculousness. Okay.
Renee Good. This should not have happened, but we're here today. Let know that law enforcement professionals, real ones, not the fake made up ICE, probably Trump's new army to attack citizens of the United States.
And she already says her political views already, her ideology and everything. You cannot be law enforcement and you don't have objective, like full objective analysis. That's the problem with this stuff, man. You have law enforcement, you have prosecutors, you have judges. They're all political. They're all ideologically ran. They don't have objective analysis. Like, everybody in the country are up to subjective analysis and up to subjective thought process and ideology and everything by law. By law and by the swearing in that they took and the oath of office that they took. Police officers, military, prosecutors, judges, politicians are supposed to be extremely objective, because they never know if a citizen that they're representing is a Republican, is a conservative, is a Trump supporter, or if they're a liberal, they're Obama supporter, they're Kamala supporter, they're Democrat. You don't know, and you're not supposed to be treating them different, and not supposed to have a psychosis thought process that's like, oh, you know, you can't trust a person that you know that's liberal. You can't trust them that you know that's a conservative or Republican in how they administrate their office. This is not good. It's supposed to be neutral. They got to be neutral because they're the justice. They're the law enforcement. They're the law. And the law is supposed to be fair for each and every single individual citizen. Listen to how she talked.
Did you hear what I said? No law enforcement professional wears a mask. None.
Yeah, if you work in Border Patrol, if you work for ICE and you're going against the cartel, this has been known forever. They've been like this for decades because they get doxxed and cartels will kill and murder ICE members and Border Patrol members. It has been all known. That's why they wear the mask. That's why it's when you look at pictures of the military and these are special forces and Delta Force, you will see them blur the pictures even in the documents inside of the actual government, so you won't see the identity of these people because they're so important and they gotta infiltrate, and sometimes these people go undercover and stuff. If you show they actual face, they can't be required to go undercover if they have to. So absolutely, the number one force that's actually uses masks and put masks on and stuff are ICE and Border Patrol. That's known for decades. So for her to say this is she's either ignorant with no knowledge of all the law enforcement tactics of our country, or she's in some ideological thing where other people are saying this and she wants to validate it by saying something that she knows that's false, but it's a good soundbite.
None. Those that come into our communities wearing a mask to commit crime, thank God for our district attorney, Larry Krasner, who say he's going to lock them up. And I'm saying now, we are not going to whisk you away for them to hide your identity, because when you do it there, you're getting arrested there.
See? So if ICE comes into the actual Philadelphia, because this bitch ain't from Minnesota or Minneapolis, she's just a big mouth, TV watching piece of shit cop that's inside of Philadelphia, being ghetto and ignorant. So they're saying, the prosecutor says that if ICE comes to Philadelphia to do ICE enforcement and Border Patrol enforcement, the cops of Philadelphia gonna walk up to an ICE agent and tell him to take his mask down. He got federal immunity in tactic operation behind him, and they're gonna tell him to take your mask off, and if he doesn't, they're gonna arrest an ICE agent. Wild shit, man. Wild stuff, dude. So meaning that Philadelphia's gonna break the law to harbor illegal immigrants, that they have warrants to arrest them and they have judge rulings for them to be deported. They're gonna break the law by enforcing if they have a mask or they don't have a mask. But she's trying to say, don't have the mask on, and you could do what you're gonna do. But if you have the mask on to protect you and your family and your name and your identity, then we're gonna arrest you. We're gonna actually put a tactical force against you, and it's on the decision of ICE and Homeland Security and the president to allow them to arrest you or respond with force to the police officers. That's how stupid this dumb boy. I'm about to say something. I'm about to say a C word, but I'm not gonna say it.
No whisk away for them to hide you. None of that here. None of that here.
Ghetto.
Law enforcement professionals do not shoot at moving vehicles. I'm not saying fleeing because she wasn't fleeing. She was getting out of the way.
Bullshit.
Law enforcement professionals do not stand.
And even if she was getting out the way, her panicking and how she did it was not good. That's in the eye of the beholder. I'm not saying she was and she wasn't. Technically, she was being forceful in that situation, and that was not the move to make. That was dumb. So this is emotion calculation, because what we seen was that she was dumb. She was been threatening with the car, and she thought it was all fun and games that she could get away with it. Whatever happens, she can get away with it.
In front of moving vehicles, invoking an action that is illegal.
He was walking around. He went from his truck. When the other officer told her to get out the car, he went around to see which they were doing. Obviously, he recorded them just to get their license plates, and to say this person is trying to block us and stop us from doing. So he was making a recording of the action that they were doing, and she decided to react to the other officer and drive away and hit him and all that stuff. We're gonna go into this. We're gonna go into all this. This is emotion, and this is why I say it's her job to be extremely objective. But this is how ignorant our officers, our police chiefs, and all this, and our judges and our prosecutors are. They are terrible in objectivity. They're terrible, and we need them to be objective. We need them to be objective. But in a logic point of view, take over.
No, we don't. And so we stand here today with all those who stand against the made-up, fake, what you can call ICE, professional law enforcement. I don't call them none of that. I call them made-up, fake, wannabe law enforcement. Because what they do is against not only legal law, but the moral law.
Fuck your moral law. Fuck your moral law. What's moral to you is completely destructive to my life. There's a lot of stuff that people do that's morally to them that are terrible for other people. It is unjust to other people. Morally, you can look at something and think your moral conscience tells you to perceive it a certain way, and it could be totally eroding a person's freedom and their rights and their way to actually speak their piece and have their side justified, or their side even be a consideration in what happened. You could just go look at it from your point of view, and that's all that matters. And morally, your morals will take you down the rabbit hole of wrong. Crazy, wild stuff, and it's not illegal for the action that he took. That's sad, but it's not. Why? Because when I show you the evidence, it's just it's in the eye of the beholder.
So I'm with the DA, and we will work with them. If any of them want to come in this city and commit a crime, you will not be able to hide. Nobody will wish you off. You don't want this smoke.
You don't want this smoke. and somebody in the audience, because it's an ignorant hip hop terminology from ghetto ass shit, and you got a respectable police chief woman saying some ignorant shit like this, but she's been saying ignorant shit for the last 3 minutes.
Because we will bring it to you. And
when you got somebody that mindset is like that, you can't trust your safety. You can't trust your safety. She's wow.
Fake, whatever they call him, because I can't say the name, but the criminal in
You probably don't even know what to say, you idiot.
the White House would not be able to keep you from going to jail. Renee Good should be here today. And to her family, we are saying law enforcement professionals are not the ones here in this city that would do that. But here's the last thing that I will say. Law enforcement professionals around the country do their job, and we have been fighting for years to build that bridge between.
Man, Philadelphia been shit. You know what I'm saying? If you got crime that's down, it's because you got FBI agents running around in that country. In that city, and they doing a lot of stuff that Trump got them doing. You know, it's certain things that's popping off to help keep crime down and stuff. And it's just don't pat yourself on the back. Philadelphia been terrible in crime, terrible, and most majority inner city and black neighborhoods been just junk.
Us in our communities. You have one negative nutcase.
And I don't blame the black citizens, because all they got is the crooked city council members, the crooked police officers, and it's this stupid stuff, and it's just terrible. Survival of the fittest, and because this is who they elect to. This is ridiculous.
That causes this problem, and now we all have to fight again to let people know law enforcement works with communities. These crimes would not be down if we didn't have communities work with us.
Yeah. Immigration, custom enforcement is it's a dark world. She wouldn't last a day in it. Wouldn't last a day in it. Okay, that's enough. So let's go to the evidence now. Okay, go to the evidence. Let's listen to one more dumb person. I guess I gotta look at it. I don't really want to, but here we go.
The body cam footage of the police officer who shot Renee Good does not look good for him or Kristi Noem. The body cam footage of the police officer who shot Renee Good does not look good for him or Kristi Noem.
Why is he slowing it down? Why is this clip only 30-something seconds? But watch it.
Take a look at this moment in particular. The shooting officer had gone around the car to the front. But notice Renee Good. First of all, she's not even looking at the shooting officer. She's more interested in the officer who's trying to jiggle her car. But here is the piece of evidence that I think completely kills their narrative. Look at her hands. She is turning the wheel away from the officers. That is someone trying to move the car away from them. If she wanted to, if she intended to strike him, she would have just jammed on the gas. And that's not what happened here.
He's an idiot. She wasn't supposed to drive that, period, at all. And she's if she wasn't supposed to drive into anyone. She's a person that's in front of her car. Why would she do that? You idiot. It's a problem. These like you got these liberals, and these are the men. We all felt. This society's retarded. So okay. He introduced that clip. So we're going to go to the clips and we're going to show you from different point of views, okay? So this is the one that we kind of know, that's a little bit more known. She's blocking the car. She's blocking the entrance. They telling her like move out the way, get out the car, move out. They ain't not telling her to move out the way. But she said something to them to say that she's not going to move out the way. And now, okay, get out the car. Get out the car. You're going to get out the car now. We're going to arrest you now. You get what I'm saying? So you see how she blocking it? It's a house there. And there ain't no driveway. You get what I'm saying? She blocking the road because she's trying to impede what they're doing. Blocking them. Okay? Let's go to the next clip.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Out car! Out car!
No! No! Oh my fucking God!
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, they all standing by, idly by, thinking it's all a game and it's all fun and dandy and stuff. And they egging people on, blocking cars, following the ICE and all that stuff like that. It's all fun and games, all liberal. Because all these is white people. What the fuck? Oh my God. She's really. Yeah, it got real, didn't it? Got really real, didn't it? See, that's not fair to the person that died. That y'all playing this game because y'all haven't came up to life and death scenario. But it's always life and death scenario. And what are you doing driving your car when you're told to exit the car? You think that they're just there with no authority. Idiot.
Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
All fun and game with their phones, talking shit.
Out car!
Guy spitting in the direction. She's trying to speed off. And you hear the gunshots.
What the fuck?
And it hits, and she runs, and she runs the car into other cars. And now it's real. Oh my God, what the fuck? You idiot.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it got real to y'all, didn't it? See, and the reason why I'm really pissed about this, because it's not fair to her, to Renee Good, that all this egging and instigating and like doing stuff to antagonize and be disruptive to the operation of what they were doing, ICE is doing. It's not a game, y'all. What are y'all doing? Y'all there to play games and have some fun day stuff. These people are actually in an actual operation, and they there to enforce. And you put yourself in a situation that's dangerous.
Dude, you did a murder for what?
You idiot. Y'all stupid. And it's not fair to Renee. Cause just to hear them, they talking junk until there's nothing to play around no more. Ridiculous.
Okay, they're approaching.
Yeah,
okay.
This is ICE agents just pulling up here. The vehicle is
Lower
right there.
And it happens so fast that it's hard to see what takes place in this particular video, but that is the front angle, and then we have also obtained some video from behind where it happens, but that is the vehicle that belongs to the woman who was killed today. And as Randy said, there were 3 agents in particular surrounding the car. It's unclear why she was parked at an angle in the street or what to get out of the car.
She was impeding what they were doing. That's why she was like that. She know it's ridiculous.
And then we see the car start to move, and then we hear the shots.
So that video you just saw is the one that President Trump also viewed this afternoon as well. And post watching that video, the president did put out a statement. I believe we have that for you. And it reads like this: I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly. obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. We will say from our observations, the officer does not appear to have been on the pavement. He was in front of that bumper at the time, but we never saw from any of our angles him hit the pavement. He goes on to say, is there more of the president's statement, or is this the full context? He goes on to say they are just trying to do a job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officers from this, and these are his words, radical left movement of violence and hate. Again, that was President Trump's evaluation as he watched the video earlier.
And then we have the clip of the perspective from behind the vehicle as well that we want to show you. So you've seen the perspective from the front, and now we're going to show you the perspective from behind, from somebody who had a cell phone out at the scene when all of this. Very quickly, we're going to try to get to a point where we can maybe slow this down and show you some still shots. But as Randy was saying, we see all of the agents standing in the street, nobody on the ground. Again, that is the perspective from behind, and we've watched it several times. So again, that vehicle the woman was in is it's parked in the street. We don't know for how long though, and it was at an angle, and we know that ICE agents then approached that vehicle, and then the vehicle started to take off. Then after you hear the shots, it veers off into that parked car on the side of the street. Kristi Noem also issued a statement today, and I don't know if we can put it up on the screen, but just want to give you the perspective of all the different reactions that are coming in as a result of this shooting this morning. Noem saying it was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively, shot to protect himself and the people around him. My understanding is she was hit and is deceased, and we've confirmed that. This goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and law enforcement are under every single day. Again, that is Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and again, they have deployed about 2,000 ICE agents to the Minneapolis area in the last couple of days and have already made hundreds of arrests. And we know that they continued with ICE operations later today at different locations in spite of this shooting.
So it's terrible, though. You get what I'm saying? That is really terrible and stuff. But that's like, you know, that's weird. See, we're feeling the aftermath of it. You know what I mean? The aftermath, because we kind of looking at her. She's kind of dead in the car. Looks like her partner went up to her and was hugging her as she was dead or something inside the car or something like that. That's her partner that's in there right there. And it sucks, but you brought her there playing games, and you egging everybody on, and you instigating her, and you made her like be so hatred to kind of try to speed off, and it's ridiculous. Look, I'm gonna show you guys one more angle, then we're gonna get to the angle that all that really matters, because it pretty much showed everything. Let's see. There's another angle. This just one before we get to the last one. Yeah, she got hit pretty good. Because she got hit pretty good because you can hear the engine still rumbling. So that means her feet is on the gas pedal. So she got instantly killed. Wow. Ain't no joke. Now the police want to come. It's ridiculous. yeah, she didn't. Sucks, man. You know, she didn't deserve any of all that stuff, but it was a disorientated situation and it's not good. But the officer, he felt his life was in danger, and you know, now do you got any proof that his life was in danger? That's what everybody says. So the cop and ICE released his video. He gets out the car.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh! See? And it hit him. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. It's disgusting. It's terrible. You know what I mean? It's just terrible. It's not good. Okay? So we're going to go from the beginning. We're going to go from the beginning. Okay? He gets out the car. Let me lower this down a little bit so you can hear me. He gets out the car. Okay? He walks up to the car. Obviously, because they've been following them and blocking impeding a movement and stuff. So he's kind of documenting these people and these agitators and see what they're doing. Okay? He walks around. Okay? He's filming them. She's kind of responded to him. That's Renee Good right there. That's Renee Good. She said, "I ain't mad at you. You can film me," and pretty much because he's filming them, and she's telling him, "I don't care if you film me or not." Okay, so he's filming her, and her girlfriend is talking the shit outside the car, agitating him outside the car. I don't know why she got out to agitate him or what she was doing, but he was going to get the license plate, and she's talking shit. Is her partner Renee is inside the car. Her partner's in the car. We don't change our license plates, so it'll be the same license plate tomorrow morning. And she says that's
It's every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran.
U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. That's what she's saying to him. You know.
You want to come at us?
You want to come at us? You want to come at us? What are you talking about, lady? You a piece of shit, small, 5'5" lady to get your ass laid out, no matter what your backing is. Stop being an agitator and get out of the way, and stop being destructive to your partner's life.
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Other officer that's on the other side, tell her to get out of the car. She decides to back up her lesbian ass dumb partner. Her partner, stupid lady, told her, "Go ahead, drive off. Don't do that. Don't do that." He seen it coming. How she was driving. He was walking around. You could see him walking around. That's factual evidence of him walking around. Stupid. Like, look, I have a very, very close lesbian friends. We to us and our family and stuff, and they're good people. I have no problem with gays. I have no problem with lesbians and none of that stuff. This lady is a fucking idiot, and she got her friend killed. She got her partner killed. Been stupid. Pay attention to it, y'all.
Get out of the car.
Drive, baby, drive. Not good. Not good. He seen it coming. He said, "Whoa," and he started, and literally from the time he got hit, you got a second pop, pop, pop. You know, so it was enough for him to get hit and be right at the car where he could pull his gun and shoot inside the car, because obviously they were kill shots. And you can hear him say, "Fucking bitch," yo. But it's the fog of war. And she runs into the other cars. That gives you. You may not like him calling her a fucking bitch. That's crazy in itself, or whoever. If it was the other guy or it was him, I don't know which one of them. But that's got nothing to do with how ridiculous and destructive Renee's girlfriend was. And Renee, I don't know what she was doing. That was always dangerous. You got all kind of cops. You got your partner trying to get into the car, and she got her hand on the driver door, and you're driving away with her, and she's telling you to get away, get drive off. And she was trying to get in the car, and she's telling her it's destructive.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking country. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Yeah, that was just not good for everybody involved. It's not good. And that lady trying to get in the car, and she's telling her to drive off. Just drive off, baby. Just drive off. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for everybody involved. Everybody involved. And now they come into contact with technical, like what you're able to do tactically when you feel your life is in danger. That's the only difference here, is that these whacked out, illogical, liberal people actually came into contact with tactical, actual tactics that can be used when you feel like your life is in danger and you're running a car into a person, doing whatever the fuck you feel like you're doing. It's relevant when my life is in your hands and I'm in front of the car walking around, and you don't got a good range to turn away from me. So ridiculous. So look, that's the evidence, y'all. I showed that to y'all. I was going to show a clip of a lady doing some dumbass painting, but I don't even want to deal with that. I don't want to give any more craziness to this. This is a terrible story. It is ridiculous. Another lady was crying, saying that, I shouldn't be crying because it's like white guilt. I'll play that because this is how stupid these people are.
So, I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
Why do you think, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like, where that stems from. Like, I mean, part of it is being, like, a white woman, that I'm privileged, and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them, and so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
Ridiculous. Renee Good, rest in peace. I hate that happened to her. It sucks. It really does. She got 3 kids, and I really feel like she, it's a lot of disruption that happened in her life that would even put her in a situation where she's interacting with knucklehead people like her partner. That's just stupid stuff. So, it sucks. I really feel for her because I lost a brother. I literally, found him on the ground, shot up pretty bad, and got the EMS to him and all that stuff. So I lost a brother. I know how real this feels. You know what I mean? So this is not good. It sucks. I don't think no life should be extinguished. But that situation was so disruptive and ridiculous, and her partner brought such a degenerate, inconsiderate for her life situation to her and her life, and she lost her life because her partner playing games and doing dumb shit, and feel like this is all fun and games and stuff, and she just injected her into a high octane, dangerous scenario, and Renee Good lost her life to it. So I think this sucks. It's not good. This is terrible. Like I said, I think it's just not cool.
Over.
I really feel like it's not cool, and just to see, like, she in the car trying to hug her or do whatever she was doing, you made too much damage. It's too much damage. People gotta understand the abyss. I really tried to explain this philosophically to people while I'm doing my podcast, and I've done it 100 times, and I talked about it in previous episodes. None of our family and loved ones, we don't need to be putting them into scenarios where they got to deal with the abyss. We all going to deal with it sooner or later in our life, but we can avoid some things. We can avoid certain things that makes it more of a option that we're putting ourselves into the abyss than it's naturally welcoming us in to the scenario that we're in. So, rest in peace, Renee Good. And like I said, I showed this because it's a bigger story to the Minneapolis and Minnesota, and it's going on over the whole country, that when you don't have any standards of operation for the border, for how we conduct ourselves, to the economic growth of citizens that lived there their whole life, and they have the right to it, and we put a whole new class of immigrants over all our society. They're more important than the society to make this new utopia country that liberals and even conservatives, even I say conservatives because I think they just as shitty as liberals. I really do. I really think that Reagan is just as shitty and useless as Biden, really, and Obama. They just a mess, and the mess that we're trying to clean up with Trump and his movement and stuff is almost impossible. I say that Trump is fighting for a dead country. I hope I'm wrong, but look at this. Look at this crazy stuff. And it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. This kind of interaction and this kind of stuff, it gotta happen because that's where we're at. And Republicans, I'm gonna do an episode on the Republicans. I got a lot, man. Ooh. I got a lot to say. I'm going to war with them. I don't like none of them. They garbage. Innocent bystanders. I always say that Trump can only trust who he could trust in 2015. Whoever showed that you can actually trust them when all the smoke cleared from 2015, that's the people you should be trusting right now. All these other people, you can't trust them. They'll turn on the dime when the heat turns up. You know? look, guys, thanks for joining me. I know it's Saturday night, 10 o'clock. This is Individual Perspective Podcast. My name is Daris D. McKinney. I'm your host. Please hit that like, subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. I need engagement, okay? You guys know I do. So let's get it. Let's turn up those numbers. I'll see you on the next episode. I'm trying to be respectful to everybody. Maybe I went a little bit above my skis and my emotion, or maybe I blurted out something that I probably wasn't supposed to blurt out. But overall, I think Renee Good dying sucks. It really does suck, and it's terrible. I know how that feels for the people that really mattered in her life. And her partner, she didn't matter. She was just a mess. She was the worst thing that happened to her. Okay. See you guys in the next episode. This Individual Perspective Podcast. Individual Perspective Podcast. My name is Daris D. McKinney, and I'll see you on the next one.